How does Keystone Pledge of Resistance, which is a small group of concerned citizens, confront huge corporate influence? They plan to protect the environment no matter the cost. Extreme fossil fuel extraction causes problems for the environment. The air we breathe and the vast oceans of our planet are already oversaturated with CO2. This has caused an increase in atmospheric temperatures, change in weather patterns, acidifying and heating of our oceans, and the melting of glaciers, which is causing the sea levels to rise. The chemicals used for tar sands extraction and fracking are toxic and can cause cancer. During these processes, vast amounts of contaminated water is created. Then pipelines carry these toxic chemicals, which can leak into the groundwater. Methane released from fracking is a more potent greenhouse gas than CO2. Thus, fossil fuel sources must stop being burned. Keep it in the ground. We must stop tar sands extraction, fracking, mountaintop removal, and coal mining. If we continue to consume non-renewable energy sources, then we are depriving future generations. What should determine our public policy? Should our public policy be determined by corporate profits or protection of people and our environment? The fossil fuel industry has vast political influence in Washington, with the documented investment of millions of dollars to discredit environmental science. These are moral issues. Most citizens do not have the resources or desire to stand up and confront the fossil fuel industry on their terms. The fossil fuel industry has refused to accept science since that would lead to a decrease in profits for them. Because of this, having an open and honest debate with them on the issue is impossible. A moral response must be supported by action. Words alone are ignored. Actions such as nonviolence and civil disobedience are the correct action to be taken. While using nonviolence, we must frame the issue in a moral sense. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Gandhi. Nonviolence should be the way of life. We should always be nonviolent, not just when issues are presented to us or when taken in action. We must use civil disobedience to expose injustice by provoking a legal response. We need to try to influence decision makers with the threat of a civil disobedience response. The Keystone XL pipeline is the symbol of extreme extraction practices and results. The proposed Trans-Canada Keystone XL pipeline would carry trans sands product from Canada to the U.S. Gulf Coast to be refined here in the U.S. Since the pipeline would cross the U.S.-Canada border, the President must approve it. This provides a focus for opposition to extreme extraction. What is Keystone Pledge of Resistance? The Rainforest Action Network, Credo, and the other 98% created an internet campaign to allow people to pledge their resistance to the Keystone XL pipeline. I pledge, if necessary, to join others in my community and engage in acts of dignified, peaceful, civil disobedience that could result in my arrest in order to send a message to President Obama and his administration that they must reject the Keystone XL pipeline. Over 97,000 citizens have signed. There is an internet sign-up for Action Leader training. In the summer of 2013, the Rainforest Action Network activists led weekend Action Leader training sessions in 25 U.S. cities. This training included the training of others in local areas in techniques of nonviolent civil disobedience, the training in selecting and scoping targets, and the training to fill all the roles necessary for successful acts of nonviolent civil disobedience. In Indianapolis, action leaders returned from training and selected the Federal Building in downtown Indianapolis as their target. They developed an action plan to block doors of the main entrance of the building and delivered a letter of intent to security officers there to inform them of possible action. There have been 6 training sessions to fill action, legal, media, and support roles. Overall, over 400 action leaders were trained, who in turn trained over 4,000 people for local actions. Early in the campaign, environmentalists associated with the Keystone Pledge of Resistance made sure the president was aware of their efforts. So far, the president has resisted the pressure from the fossil fuel industry and Congress to approve the Keystone XL pipeline. The president's final step before he makes his decision is the report from the State Department known as the National Interest Determination. If the State Department recommends approval of the pipeline, that will trigger Keystone Pledge of Resistance, civil disobedience actions all across the United States. Join Keystone Pledge of Resistance today and help us protect the people and the environment from the fossil fuel industry.
Stop the Keystone Pipeline! Stop the Keystone Pipeline!